Notre Dame Stadium in its 75th season, seen today of a rivalry older than the stadium itself as Navy comes calling, and here come the Irish. Notre Dame led by its quarterback Brady Quinn in the midst of a record-breaking season.
Notre Dame football means to me a rich tradition and history of success. Once I'm up under center, I'm thinking, where I might be going with the ball or anticipating, what the defense is going to do.
Drop back, be cool in the pocket, and make your reads, go through progressions, and make the big play when it's there.
Brady Quinn, touchdown! He got the ball across the goal line.
Fit, quick, and nasty is just the mentality you got to have when you're out in the field. You got to be aggressive, you got to be tough, you got to be hard, and you got to react quick.
Notre Dame Stadium sold out for a matchup of two teams seemingly headed to the postseason. Navy needs to win only one of its final 3 games to become bowl eligible for the 3rd straight year, and Notre Dame hoping to win out to become eligible for a BCS Bowl. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Notre Dame Stadium. Tom Hammond and Pat Hayden here for the 79th consecutive meeting between these two teams. That's the longest intersectional rivalry in all of college football. And, of course, Notre Dame has become an offensive juggernaut under new head coach Charlie Weis. 17 offensive records have been equaled or set already this season, led by their quarterback Brady Quinn, who's breaking records himself, including 13 straight games now with a touchdown pass.
He just continues to improve and to impress. And, Tom, I think there's a lot of things to like about Brady Quinn and the way he's playing. I think we've talked about it a couple times, and he's thrown the 23 touchdown passes, only 4 interceptions, but just kind of managing the game, calling the pass protection. The second thing, I think, is ball placement. He's getting the ball out in front of receivers here to Fasano against Tennessee, and then the deep ball accuracy. In the last 2 games, he's thrown 12 deep passes, over 20-yard balls in the air, completed 7 of those. Just been phenomenal, giving those guys a chance. And he continues to improve and impress, as we said. He's hadn't thrown interceptions last 106 passes.
Of course, Navy takes a different approach. They have the 2nd best rushing attack in all of college football, led by their quarterback, Lamar Owens, who is their leading rusher.
Well, this is an offense, a triple, option they run with it. They believe is an equalizer, and they've run it particularly well. And they have 3 options, but the first one Lamar likes to go in is that fullback. And last week, Matt Hall ran for 109 yards against Tulane, and they really did establish that fullback first. And then, they pitch the ball to slot back when they can. Most of their big plays come on the perimeter when they get the ball outside to their slot backs. And then the 3rd option, obviously, is to the quarterback. When Lamar kind of tucks it in and keeps it, he carries the ball at least 12 times a game. And as you mentioned, rushed for almost 600 yards, is their leading rusher. This is the team that's the number 2 rushing team in the country. I think if they're going to have any chance today, he's going to have to play well, and they're going to really have to hog the football, possess it.
All right, it's Navy and Notre Dame as the Irish hope to extend their NCAA record, 41 consecutive wins over the Midshipmen. We're back for the opening kickoff right after these messages from your local NBC station. Watch today's game in high definition here on NBC. And the coaching matchups today, Charlie Weis in his first year as a Notre Dame head coach. And, of course, Navy under their head coach, who's been there 4 seasons now, Paul Johnson. Notre Dame won the toss, elected to receive the ball, so freshman Matt Harmon will kick off for Navy, freshman from Taylor's, South Carolina. Kicking to 2 freshmen, DJ Horde and David Grimes of Notre Dame. Short kick and taken by an up man. It's Carlson, tight end. John Carlson takes the short kick and extends it to the 27-yard line. And the last 2 games, 70% completions, 9 touchdowns, as you mentioned, 106 attempts now without one picked off. As we look at our Adidas starting lineups for the Irish offense, Walker, Schwab, Stovall, Samardzija, and Fasano. And the blockers up front with a significant size advantage, Harris, Santucci, Sullivan, Stevenson, and Lavore. So Notre Dame begins from the 27. Lone setback is Darius Walker. Actually, the Irish lining up in 2 tight ends and sending Samardzija in motion. Fake to both Walker and Samardzija, and Quinn is going to pass and does to Samardzija. Evades one tackler, cuts back, and will be close to that first down as he backtracked a little bit, had it and then backtracked, and now it'll be close. David Mahoney, a linebacker for the Midshipmen, finally tracked him down, and here is the Navy front. Jeremy Chase, Larry Silk, and John Chan. Sometimes they have a 3-man front, sometimes 4. Tidwell sometimes goes down in a 3-point stance up front. Biles, Caldwell, Mahoney, and Tidwell are the linebackers, with Little, McGowan, Price, and Thrasher. And notice the size of those secondary players, and up front too, for that matter. Darius Walker stopped. It wasn't enough for a first down on the pass to Samardzija, but Walker stopped as he's hit by Rob Caldwell, who is from Indiana, St. John, Indiana, and is the leading tackler for the Midshipmen.
Yeah, you know, Rob Caldwell, number 57, plays that inside linebacker position for them. This is a guy that, you know, kind of dreamt of coming to Notre Dame, grew up here, as you mentioned, not too far from the Golden Dome. And
about 45 minutes.
45 minutes, wore, you know, a number 3 Notre Dame jersey every Saturday as he sat around and watched the games. He wasn't recruited, but he has been sensational every single week for Navy this year.
Second down play. Darius Walker finds a seam, just grabbed by the shoe top and taken down a yard short of the first down.
Well, you know, Tom, you mentioned the size advantage that Notre Dame has, and Charlie Weiss is a pretty good, you know, game planner and schemer. You know, their offensive line outweighs Navy by 35 pounds. Navy ranks 84th out of 117 teams in rushing defense, and so you just expect Charlie just to kind of pound it at that defense. You see the average size of their front 7 is 6 feet and 237 pounds.
Kedrick Buffin, the true freshman plebe, safety, just able to trip up Darius Walker. Third down. And Samardzija will pick up a first down for the Irish.
You know, that's, you know, technically a pass, but the Irish count that as a run. You know, they've done that all year long, throwing those quick throws to their big receivers, Jeff Samardzija and Maurice Stovall, and boy, have those 2 guys responded on the outside. Right here in the slot, this is a run, the way they do it. And look at the block again by number 21, Maurice Stovall. Maurice Stovall threw 3 key blocks last week for both the tight end Fasano and for that man, Jeff Samardzija.
51 catches for a man that rarely saw the field a year ago.
17 catches in his career before.
Fumble, snap. Brady Quinn is able to pick it up. And then a late flag. Today's officiating crew headed by referee Ron Cherry from the Atlantic Coast Conference. ACC crew calling today's game.
We have a dead ball, illegal snap against the offense. The center held the ball up between his legs. The quarterback backed out. 5-yard penalty.
Nice explanation of the illegal snap there from referee Ron Cherry. So a 5-yard step off against the Irish.
Yeah, this is something that the Irish have not done much this year. You know, we talk about Brady Quinn managing the game so well. They've had very few poor exchanges. They, you know, haven't had delay of game penalties. You always have 11 guys in the field, not, you know, 10 or 12. They've really kind of done things particularly well. Those are the few exchange problems they've had all season long.
First down and 15. The Irish come with 3 tight ends, Fasano, Carlson, and Freeman. And hand it off to the running back, Travis Thomas. And Thomas, first carry of the day, gets into the Navy 40-yard line, where he's tackled by strong safety Jeremy McGowan.
What a nice block by John Carlson, the tight end, the man in motion. Watch the block there, the kick-out block. And then Travis Thomas just squeezes the hole right behind the block of Carlson.
Gain of 13 for Thomas, who goes to the sideline, and Darius Walker returns. He's the tailback in the eye behind Aesop Schwab, the fullback. Give it to Schwab, and the freshman pounding inside the 35-yard line of Navy to the 33, tackled there by Jake Biles.
You know, this Irish team on offense, we've talked about them being explosive, Tom, averaging 38 points a game, and I think one of the things that makes them so difficult to defend is they can kind of have a couple of different styles. They can pound it, as they've started here, or they can come out and throw. Remember last week against Tennessee, they opened the game with 3 screens, and you see the big offensive numbers. They're averaging almost 500 yards a game. A 36 offensive touchdowns this year already, more than the entire season last year.
And the opposing defensive coaches have to have nightmares trying to prepare to play the Irish. Darius Walker trying to cut back is cut down instead by Kedrick Buffin.
And a good hustle play by Buffin. Buffin, I think, ran past the play and slipped and then fell back in and then made the play. Number 11, top of the screen. He slips, doesn't stay on the ground long, comes back and stops Darius Walker. Buffin had an interception last week, which we returned for a touchdown. You mentioned a plebe, tough first year for these guys at Navy. But
the football field is a relief.
Absolutely. Can't wait till 4 o'clock.
He's a plebe for a roll at Texas. Quinn with a play action fake and no pressure whatsoever. Goes for the end zone for Stovall. What a catch. Was he inbounds? Still no signal now. Touchdown.
Yep. All year long, Maurice Stovall and Jeff Samardzija have outjumped defenders. And Keenan Little, the guy who was going against, is 5'11", not a tiny guy. Watch how he times it. Body position. The one-handed stab. You see that? The one-handed grab with the right hand.
And got the required 1 foot down. Actually got 2 down.
But, the first thing was the great body position. And give Brady Quinn some credit. Kept the ball on the field to play. Allowed his receiver to outjump the defender.
And threw it high where the 6'5" Stovall could get it for his 7th touchdown reception of the season. DJ Fitzpatrick adds the extra point. Brady Quinn directs a touchdown on the first possession. Coca-Cola, make it real. By Xerox, helping your business grow with technology, document management, and consulting services. And by Adidas Basketball, impossible is nothing. From Notre Dame Stadium, Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, Lewis Johnson. Beautiful day in the 60s here in South Bend. The weather's been great this entire season. 7-0 Notre Dame. As Brady Quinn extends his Notre Dame record and has thrown a touchdown pass now in 14 consecutive games.
In a 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, just staggering.
DJ Fitzpatrick is ready to kick it off for the Irish. And Carlos Whitaker, he is deep for Navy.
And Whitaker is a good return guy for Navy. Really good. Best that Paul Johnson's had.
Fitzpatrick's kick fielded by Whitaker. 2 yards deep, he's coming out with it. Cutting to his left, switches the ball correctly to the outside arm and is out of bounds beyond the 30-yard line. Good return by Whitaker, chased out by Ambrose Wooden.
Look at the protection here first in the last touchdown pass and that Brady Quinn got by that superb offensive line. I mean, he could look at the full wine list with that protection, Tom. And then just kind of heaved it up at the top. Number 21 at the top of the screen, just runs a go route. But then watch how he settles in. Brady Quinn keeps it in the play, gives him plenty of time to go up and get it. And one more look at that incredible protection. And see, just when you have that 6'5" receiver, Stovall said a couple weeks ago, Brady Quinn just underthrow it if anything.
Here's a triple option, and the pitch from Owens to Nelson, and he's hit hard and dropped after a short game. As we look at Lamar Owens, the senior from Savannah, who is the leading rusher for the Midshipmen. And our Adidas starting lineups for Navy: Nelson, who just got the pitch, Campbell, Hall, Yokitis, and Tomlinson. And look at the undersized offensive line: Pritchett, Gallion, Rossi, who's a good one, Harper, and Green. 2nd down and 6. Triple option to the other side. Owens keeps. And he's hit hard across the 40. Maurice Crum first to arrive on the scene. Check our Notre Dame starters on the defensive side of the football. Abby and Mary, Laws, Landry, and Talley. Linebackers Hoyt, Mays, and Crum. And in the secondary, it's Wooden, Ndukwe, Zibikowski, and Richardson.
Yeah, those 4 guys have all played well in the defensive backfield for the Irish.
And the knock was, coming into the season, that the Irish secondary is not very good.
Well, they have really responded. Mike Richardson in 1 quarter, Ambrose Wooden, I think, have been played terrifically.
Well, the whole secondary has been outstanding as the season has progressed. keeper. That was a called keeper by Owens, who ducks in behind his fullback and is tackled by Corey Mays, but not until he picks up a first down.
Yeah, we talked about that Notre Dame secondary and how well they've played, and although Navy doesn't throw the ball much, you see the interceptions. Zibikowski has 4 there to lead the team, 2 of which he's returned for touchdowns, and Dukeway's got 2, and Richardson playing their boundary corner. And Ambrose Wooden, the 2 interceptions don't tell the entire story about Ambrose Wooden. He's made a bunch of hustle plays where he's saved touchdowns, and that guy you're looking at, Zibikowski's had really a sensational year. 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
And what about a tip of the cap to secondary coach Bill Lewis? Triple option. Owens nowhere to go. Trapped for a loss. As Notre Dame defended it well that time, Abby Amiri and Talley sort of bracketed Owens, and he had nowhere to go.
Now you hear about, there's right there, Abby Amiri on his job. And again, when you're just trying to make that quarterback think, hey, give the ball to the fullback and confuse him a little bit, because it truly is a triple option. It's all in the hands of Lamar Owens, the quarterback. He decides whether the fullback gets it, depending upon how the defensive ends play.
2nd down, 11. Fullback and 2 slot backs, A-backs, Navy calls them. Here's a reverse option. Owens dragged down by Derek Landry. Good pursuit from his defensive line position.
Derek Landry, number 66, really just kind of going to his left. And the one thing about Derek Landry is, you know, you're going to get every single week and every single play is a bunch of hustle. Talked to him a couple of weeks ago. He's got some Italian descent. Says he can speak Italian. Goes to the local barber shop just to kind of keep his Italian in check, right?
Well, he's taking Italian. He told us he speaks Italian, but his teammates chuckle at that. Give it to the fullback, Hall. Matt Hall picks up a first down for Navy before Zibikowski from his safety spot makes the tackle, and Hall gimpy as he comes up.
There's a guy that's really important to their offense. A guy who rushed for 109 yards last week.
And on the season has rushed for nearly 500 and has carried 99 times this season. That one went for 8 yards and a first down, but Hall is out, replaced by Adam Ballard.
It's a big old guy, 240 pounds.
Sophomore from Louisville, Texas. Send Nelson in motion and give to the fullback Ballard. And Ballard across the 40-yard line of Notre Dame. This, of course, is the way Navy wants to play it, to keep the ball, to keep the Irish offense on the sideline, and to churn out first downs.
Well, Paul Johnson, the head coach, said to us this week when we talked to him, well, we've got to play against Notre Dame like Notre Dame did against USC. You remember when Notre Dame just kind of controlled the clock, ran the ball 52 times, and he is in Ballard's face. He said to us earlier this week a little bit, they're looking for more from Alan Ballard.
Trey Hines is in replacing Adam Ballard at the fullback spot. 2nd down and 7. Keep by Owens to the 35-yard line, just short of the first down.
Lamar Owens is a tough guy. You know, he's 5'9", 185 pounds, and in this offense, you're taking a hit every time you run it, every time you pitch it, every time you throw it. But he has absolutely survived hits like that all season long.
From Savannah, he went to Benedictine Military Academy, sort of prepared him for the midshipman life. Was an all-stater, also played basketball and track in high school, and for the midshipmen, as you saw in the opening, total offense over 1,500 yards. 3rd down and 3, and Owens will call a timeout. So timeout Navy, facing a 3rd down and 3 at the Irish 35-yard line and trailing Notre Dame by 7. Navy in the midst of an 8-play, 33-yard drive that has consumed over 5 minutes, and facing a 3rd down and 3 at the Irish 35-yard line. Owens hit as he tried to hand it to the fullback, and he will be stopped in his tracks.
Derek Landry was so quick off the ball. Number 66 just didn't give him a chance whatsoever. Right here in the middle. See how quickly he got through that gap? Just kind of swallowed both guys, fullback and quarterback. And Navy go for it on 4th down.
So 4th down, give him charitably a yard and make it 4th down and 2.
Well, they go for it on 4th down a lot and actually convert 61% of the time on 4th down.
4th down try by Navy. They need 2 yards to keep the drive going. Owens changing the play. Play clock to 1, and it'll be delay of game. He tried to call timeout. Did he get it?
I don't see a flag go up. I think he did get it.
Timeout on the field.
Burned 2 timeouts.
Timeout on the field. Navy.
So Navy has to use its 2nd timeout, just beating the play clock with a timeout after Owens was going up and down the line, changing the call. In fact, Coach Paul Johnson, talking to us yesterday, was worried about hearing the changing of plays here with all the noise of Notre Dame Stadium. Not used to, of course, playing at this big a venue, and that was one of his concerns coming in. There's a look at the, they're on the end where the students are too, typically the loudest end of the stadium.
Paul Johnson's done a heck of a job at Navy. You know, he inherited a team that was 1-20 the 2 prior years to his arrival. Last year they won 10 games, and as you mentioned at the top of the show, if they win 6 games this year, they would go to the 3rd bowl game, which is their absolute first time in the history of Navy football.
And they'll be favored against both Temple and Army, their final 2 games. Let's go down to Lewis.
All right, Times, thanks so much. You know, when Notre Dame's opponent arrives at the stadium, there's always a huge crowd of folks out there willing to show their support for the Irish, but today it was so different. The Irish came out there to show their support for Navy. They were up, applauding, showing an incredible round of sport. I'll give you the rest of that in just a minute.
All right, 4th down and 2. Owens pitching, and a 1st down picked up to Nelson. Marco Nelson, as they run the option to perfection. Owens reads the defender, makes the pitch, it gains 9 yards.
What a block by Reggie Campbell, though, number 7, the other slot back. Campbell, right, and watch the block that he gets that springs him for the 1st down. Right there on Richardson, that allows Marco Nelson to hit the corner of the perimeter of the defense and pick up the 1st. Those slot backs, they call them A-backs, as you mentioned, Tom, have to run, they have to block, and they catch.
So a key 4th down conversion by Navy keeps the drive alive. Give it to the fullback, Trey Hines, and Hines has a short gain as we go back down to Lewis.
Well, Tom, as I was talking about tremendous respect by the Notre Dame fans and for these middies that have come to town, I was talking to Brady Quinn before the game, and he said if he was not an athlete, he would have loved to have gone to a service academy. I asked him why, and he said, well, the structured lifestyle and all that comes with it, the great education and service to his country. Quinn's father was in the Marine Corps, served in Vietnam, and he has the utmost respect for all those out in Iraq today and all of the opponents that he's facing today, because in 5 years they'll be out protecting this country, willing to put their lives on the line. Tom?
All right, Lewis, here's the option pitch again. This one to Whitaker, Carlos Whitaker, as Navy has found some going on the pitch to the outside, to the left of their offensive formation. Mike Richardson got him out of bounds after a gain of 8.
And Tom, watch the hit Lamar Owens, the quarterback, takes. Barely got that ball off. And you know, he pitches that ball, it's almost like a kick end over end because they're a little easier to catch. But perfect timing by Lamar Owens. The bad news, though, in the perfect timing, you're always going to get hit as a quarterback.
Tomlinson with a stalemate on his block, too, enabling to get 8 yards on that play, enough that they'll have to call the chains out to measure. And, Pat, just continuing the theme of which Lewis was speaking, that during that last timeout when we went away to a commercial, the public address announcer announcing the fans one day after Veterans Day, appreciating all that Navy does for our country, and the Notre Dame fans, 80,000 strong, except for a brief group or a small group of Navy fans, a standing ovation, applauding the Navy midshipmen who are here today, and of course their football team on the field. A great show of respect. Ball just short of the 1st down.
You know, that's why these guys as football players are incredible all-around students and the Navy football players. But boy, it's just so important for them because they know they're going to have 4 years at a time. They have a higher calling after this. But boy, you know you're going to get 115 or more percent or more effort out of a Navy football team. And
of course, in recent years, they played Notre Dame very tough, despite the fact they haven't won. Triple option and a pass. The first one they had him wide open. Nelson and overshot him. Owens had Nelson. Knows it. He knows it.
Yeah, Nelson has caught 2 touchdowns. You know, Navy has not thrown a touchdown pass against Notre Dame since the 4th quarter. There he is right there over the middle. Since the 4th quarter of the game in 2000. But boy, an easy one there for Marco Nelson.
Ndukwe and Zibikowski, the safeties, caught napping, playing the run, and it was wide open for a touchdown. Owens missed him. Owens has tossed 4 touchdown passes this season, but 8 interceptions. Missed one there for 6. Now it's 4th down and inches.
Quarterback duck.
Yep, that was Owens keeping for the 1st down as we cross the yellow line. Second time they've converted on 4th down in this drive, which continues to consume time. Now down to 3:17, 1st quarter.
You know, but Lamar Owens has really managed the game. We talk about Brady Quinn at the top. Lamar Owens has really managed this opening drive particularly well, pitching the ball at the very last moment. That time on 4th down, knew exactly what he needed, which was only about 2 inches. And he picked up at least 3 inches.
Pitch. That was a straight pitch to Whitaker. And Whitaker will be gang tackled inside the 10-yard line. And Ndukwe led the charge of the Irish, but inside the 10 for the Midshipmen.
Anytime you play the option, your safety, Zibikowski and Ndukwe from Notre Dame, should make a lot of plays. And I'm telling you, Zibikowski, number 9, thought he had him. And then just, got his head on the wrong side of Carlos Whitaker. And that's why Whitaker ended up picking up, about 5-6 yards.
Ndukwe wrapped him up and then got some help from his teammates, setting up a 2nd down and 6. Owens handing to the fullback, who's in for the touchdown. Adam Ballard with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
The same guy that Paul Johnson was kind of chomping at the bit at just a few moments ago, but a good read by the fullback, good block by Antron Harper, the right guard, and a little crease there for 240-pound Alan Ballard to find and then pull his way to the end zone. So all the way around, good call, good execution. 9-yard touchdown run, and Lamar Owens did miss the touchdown pass, but he made the right read for a touchdown in the running game. Extra point is by Joey Bullen, and it is good. Well, a textbook drive if you're a Navy fan. Ball control. They march down the field and get 6. It consumes 7 minutes, 45 seconds, 16 plays. That consumed nearly 8 minutes on the clock and included 2 4th down conversions. Enables Navy to tie the score at 7. There were 15 runs, 1 incomplete pass on that 16-play drive. You talk about the good decisions that Lamar Owens made, Tom. He has to make decisions not only on the few passes they throw, but every single run. And that triple option, he's making a decision.
The 7 minutes, 45 seconds, the longest drive of the season by Navy. Matt Harmon's kick, taken by David Grimes. Grimes tripped up, lost his balance, and then tackled at about the 22-yard line.
Hey, Tom, let's go back and look at that last drive. And, we talked about how Navy runs the triple option. You get a little bit of everything. There's the pitch on the outside the perimeter. You have the quarterback keep, which they ran for a 1st down there. Then you have the fullback, that was Hall, and then they scored later on the fullback play. Good pitch on timing, this one to number 33, Whitaker. And then finally 9 yards to Adam Ballard. So they had to defend. They forced Notre Dame to defend all 3 of those options.
From the eye on 1st down, Schwab is the fullback. There's Darius Walker, the tailback. Handoff to Walker. Pounds across the 30-yard line. Stopped there by Rob Caldwell.
They like to mix it up. A lot of different guys touch the ball for Navy when they're on offense. And you see the quarterback keeper, he rushed 7 times for 19 yards. The slot back's got 4. The fullback's got 4. So you're defending all 53 yards, 100 yards in depth. And as Charlie Weiss said to us, playing against this Navy option, you had better be disciplined. Completely different type of defense you have to play against them.
Gain of 8 by Walker, 2nd and 2. Here's Walker again, hit in the backfield and dropped by Navy for a loss. David Mahoney got penetration to stop Darius Walker. It'll bring up 3rd down for the Irish. And it'll be 3rd down and long for Notre Dame as you see the yellow first down marker. 1st and 10 line brought to you today by Xerox. So the Irish on 3rd down and 6 will go with a 2 tight end formation. Fasano and Carlson. There's Mahoney, who made the last tackle for a loss for Navy. Navy has its nickel defense on.
You know, Samardzija has always seemed to be the guy they seem to be going on 3rd downs.
Quinn, with, again, lack of pressure, gets it to Stovall. Easy catch for an Irish first down.
You know, Maurice Stovall had such a brilliant game a couple of weeks ago against BYU. As you look at the protection that Brady Quinn is getting, boy, has he gotten good protection today. That offensive line just doing a great job. You just don't get that much protection that often. But Maurice Stovall, 4 touchdown catches against BYU, but last week only 2 catches, but 3 significant blocks that sprung teammates for touchdowns. So he's done it a couple of different ways the last couple of weeks.
Very impressive, the wide receiver blocking in Notre Dame all season. Darius Walker, first down run, and a flag comes in at the end of the play. Tyler Tidwell makes the tackle. Let's check the penalty. A holding call against the Irish.
Well, Tom, you're talking about Maurice Stovall and his blocking last week, and man, as I said, when Fasano got that pass early in the game, watch number 21 block the Tennessee defender, and then Fasano just kind of dives into the end zone because of that block. And then this was the key play of the game, 21 all, and he takes out 3 volunteers as Samardzija brings the ball down inside the 10, and then on Samardzija's touchdown, he's the one that clears the way for his teammate to get in the end zone. So an unselfish day for Maurice Stovall, only 2 catches, although 1 was a brilliant touchdown, but he cleared the way for 3 other touchdowns.
And you can be sure the NFL scouts have noticed his blocking as well as his receiving. The penalty was a holding call on Mark Lavore. Sets up a first down and 20. And Quinn will go to the air. Underneath pass to Walker. Surrounded but broke the tackle and gets an extra 5 or 6 yards before Keenan Little brings him down. Gain of 11 on the play. Near the end of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet players of the game from each team to honor their determination and outstanding play. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Chevy, an American revolution. Brady Quinn has attempted 4 passes so far and hit all 4.
What percentage is that?
I can get that one. Some of the other ones now I may have to call for help. Carlson was the motion man. Quinn's pass is complete to Fasano. And Anthony Fasano stopping a good tackle by DeJuan Price, a sure tackle from the Navy free safety, to bring up a 3rd down for Notre Dame. Final seconds here of the first quarter. That'll be it. The first quarter, which was largely consumed by a nearly 8-minute Navy drive. And Navy and Notre Dame tied 7-7 at Notre Dame Stadium at the end of 1. And we'll be back to the stadium for the second quarter right after these messages from your local NBC station. Notre Dame Stadium, this was just a couple of minutes ago. On the Navy sideline, Navy and Notre Dame tied at 7. In fact, the Midshipmen, when they come to Notre Dame Stadium, typically give the Irish a tussle. The last 3 games at Notre Dame Stadium have all been close, though all Notre Dame victories.
Tussle means close? If I looked up tussle?
Explain it to you later.
Okay.
Notre Dame has owned the second quarter this season. They've outscored their opponents 110-26 in the second quarter. In fact, only Tennessee and Michigan State have scored touchdowns in the second quarter against Notre Dame. Nice run here by Darius Walker, showing that patience and picking his way forward for 8 yards and a first down. Keenan Little, the tackle.
Travis Thomas, the other tailback, is kind of a darter, but Darius Walker just waits and sees and waits for things to develop. Eyes downfield, and then bursts when he has to. A 3rd and 3 call, a little draw play. I mean, there were white jerseys in the hole, but he just kept dancing, kept moving, and at the right moment accelerated for the first down.
From the Navy 45-yard line, Brady Quinn appears to be changing the play. It's a draw play, handoff to Walker. Again, he's able to break a couple of tackles, step out of them actually to the 40-yard line. DeJuan Price, Tyler Tidwell combine on the Navy stop. Not until a nice game.
Excuse me, Tom. Darius Walker, we've talked about his vision and the way he kind of waits for things, and Charlie Weiss's play calls. He runs a lot of draw plays and delay calls to Darius Walker because he's that kind of runner. He sees that way, and when Travis Thomas gets in there, there are a lot more quick hitting plays.
Here's an illustration in the stats of Walker of what you were talking about, the way that Notre Dame can attack you in lots of different ways. This will be Walker on the pitch. Not short of the first down.
You know, I think Darius Walker, though, even though he wasn't called on much against BYU, had a good game blocking, and then last week against Tennessee, you know, a productive day running. Didn't have that many touches, but a nice productive day for Darius Walker.
Walker out of the game now, replaced by Travis Thomas.
One thing that strikes me about this Notre Dame team, no prima donnas, nobody, you know, saying I'm not getting the ball or touching the ball enough.
Of course, Coach Weiss saying that this has become more and more a team as the season has progressed. It's one of the biggest changes he's seen in this squad, that they become more like a team, rooting for each other. Thomas upended in the backfield by Rob Caldwell. Caldwell got the good penetration and stopped Thomas short of the first down.
Yeah, we talked about Caldwell. This is a guy who's averaging 12 tackles a game and has played not only just okay, but very well every single game. That was, you know, he forces a 4th and 4 with that tackle. Notre Dame looks like they're going to go for it, but Rob Caldwell has played every game well, and he said this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me to play against Notre Dame, the team that I rooted for as a kid growing up in St. John.
Notre Dame was his first love. Grew up about 45 minutes away. 4th down and 3 from the eye. Fake to Thomas. Quinn still has it. Looking downfield for the end zone, looking for his tight end, or no, for Samardzija it was, and Samardzija looks for a flag, none comes. It's Price and McGowan that had him double-teamed, as Samardzija in the end zone sees it fall incomplete.
Yeah, Jeremy McGowan, number 8, did a great job. He's the guy in the back. So you have him fronted and backed, and a real good play by the strong safety, Jeremy McGowan. So the Irish going for it all on 4th and 4, but good defense by Navy.
When unable to convert to Samardzija on 4th down, Navy takes over. Position for Navy after holding Notre Dame on 4th down. They take over at the 38-yard line. Pitch to Nelson. Nelson trying to use his blockers, makes it to the 44-yard line. Corey Mays knocks him down at that spot, a gain of 6.
Yeah, let's go back and look at that last play. Number 1, the guy who died at number 1 is DeJuan Price, and then McGowan is the other guy. Watch how they bracket the wide receiver, Samardzija, on 4th and 4. And one guy in front, one guy, there's just no window there to be able to make that completion. They had just about everybody covered, even though the protection was perfect for Brady Quinn. You know, he's thrown so many balls downfield. The guys have out-jumped defenders. You understand why he's throwing this to them. But that time, terrific coverage by Price and McGowan.
2nd down and 4. It's the fullback Ballard bouncing off Irish tacklers and coming up just short of that yellow line. I believe where they'll mark the football will be just short of the first down.
When Navy has got it going, which they have thus far, they get in a lot of 3rd and shorts, 3rd and 2 or less. And that's the way this game has played so far for Paul Johnson's offense.
Taking a long look at the spot. In fact, it appears that they're going to bring the chains on to see if it is a first down.
We were talking to Paul Johnson this week, and he was saying to us, you know, I don't talk to my kids about the 41 prior games. We talk about this game. Why not start our own streak? You know, win the first game. After those last 41, says, hey, you know, you have to come here and just play as they going to get the first down. Can't play scared, which this Navy team never does.
So by the nose of the football, Navy picks up the first down.
I thought it was interesting. We were talking to Paul. He was talking about just the pool of available talent that will go to the academies.
So there's a certain group of athletes that are interested in the service academies, and to have success as he has, you have to get more than your share of those, competing with Army and Air Force. Play action fake, and Owens to the air has this completion inside the 40 to Mick Yurkitis. That's his first catch of the season. Stopped by Mike Richardson, a gain of 12.
Now, you said that was his first catch of the season. This is the 9th game. He is a starting wide receiver. They don't throw the ball a lot. Only 3 passes all last week, believe it or not. They still scored 49 points.
Their leading receiver, Jason Tomlinson, has caught 22.
It's pretty lonely out there as a wide receiver for Navy.
Pittsburgh and a senior. First down, Irish 38, Navy on the move in a tie game. Triple option, keep by Owens. Twisted down inside the 35 to the 34-yard line.
Picked up a nice block. I think it was by Adam Ballard, the fullback. And you see that how hard it is playing option quarterback. You don't see it much in college football anymore because the punishment these quarterbacks seem to take. But when you play at an institution like Navy, you see why coaches like Paul Johnson use it. It's an equalizer. You know, you only have a week to prepare for it. Your offensive linemen don't have to have dominating blocks, and you don't have to block everybody. That's why
you make him make a decision, and you don't have to block him. You use that option to force the defense to react to you, and then you read him correctly, you get a gain like that one on the keep by Owens, who rode with his fullback, elected not to give it to him, kept it, looked at the pitch, decided it wasn't there, and ducks under himself before he's tackled by Richardson and Hoyt.
Number 81, right to the right of the screen. What a block. That's Kyle Kimbrough, a wide receiver on Tom Zibikowski. Real good pursuit by the Irish, and Derek Landry has made 3 of these plays already in the first half.
He's pursuing to the outside to get there to make the stop on the triple option. Third down and 2. Owens trapped and stopped by Landry.
And Derek Landry is listening to the play calls. I think he's actually in Navy's huddle. He's spent an awful lot of time. He's right in here. Awful lot of time on the other side of the line of scrimmage, hasn't he?
Navy has those big line gaps, and he just shot through the gap that time, didn't he? They got a little piece of him, but not enough to stop him.
Well, we talked to Derek Landry a couple weeks ago saying, hey, you know, I stay low, I get off the ball as quickly as I can, and then I use my hands to get separation off the offensive line.
Here's a 4th down and 3. Remember, on its touchdown drive, Navy converted twice on 4th down. Owens backed up, lost the football, picked up by Notre Dame.
I think they called it down.
Zibikowski,
they called it down now.
The heads up ball hawk for the Irish, but it's called down, no fumble.
And I think they're going to have to measure. He may have gotten the first down. They called it down. The line judge was right there calling it down.
And I think it was the correct call. And this, of course, was a 4th down, so they're going to have to measure to see whether he picked up the first down. He started backing up, and as he hit the ground, it looked like the ball popped loose as he landed on his back.
And watch Lamar Owens as he twists and then stretches the ball out, knowing exactly.
They'll measure.
I think he was down when that ball came out. But number 9 for the Irish always seems to be around loose balls. Like I said, they scored 4 touchdowns over the past 3 games for the Irish.
Here's the key measurement. Does Navy keep the drive going? Does Notre Dame take over? Chain down, short. So Notre Dame holds on 4th down after Navy had done the same to them.
You know, credit Derek Landry. He had 2 really good plays on that defensive series for the Irish. The nose tackle for Notre Dame.
This was a determined run by Owens to no avail. Got away from the initial hit by Brandon Hoyt. Ruled down, no fumble, but Notre Dame takes over after Navy fails on downs. It's a score tie, but about as even as you can get. Each team with a long touchdown drive on its first possession, and then stopped on 4th down. Navy stopped Notre Dame. Notre Dame just returned the favors, and the Irish take over at their own 29-yard line. Carlson is in motion. First down pass, complete to Carlson. No, through his hands, incomplete.
We talked to Charlie Weiss Thursday night, Tom, and he kind of talked about the respect that he has for this Navy team, and he said his father was in his Navy, and a brother actually attended West Point.
Went up to visit him when his brother was a freshman, got some trouble from the upperclassmen trying to Charlie Weiss said, get out of here. You know, I don't go to Army. You don't have to harass me. And then went back again when his brother was a senior for the Army-Navy lacrosse game. So it was quite an experience. And, great respect. Darius Walker thrown back by the Midshipmen defense.
Yes, sir.
Rob Caldwell, who saw Notre Dame as his first love. In fact, the high school team he went to, Andrean High School, and Gary had uniforms just almost identical to Notre Dame's.
You know, he's right in here. I mean, he just kind of battles through a whole bunch of traffic, and you know, some guys just have, you know, they always talk about the nose for the ball, that hackney phrase, but he just always seems to be around it. 21 tackles against Air Force. He had 14 against Stanford. He had a pretty good first half here.
Because he had about 22 family and friends here for the game. A dream come true to play at Notre Dame Stadium. Quinn got some pressure that time, had to scramble free, but finds Stovall wide open. And Stovall gang tackled out of bounds, but not until he reaches first down yardage.
You know, how many times have we seen Brady Quinn just kind of duck under a rush or step up into the pocket to make, you know, to live another day to make a play like this? Outside blitz by David Mahoney. You know, Brady Quinn steps up into the pocket, eyes always downfield. Well, even though he ducks up, look where his head is. So that's how he can find his wide open receiver, Maurice Stovall. A lot of quarterbacks flush the pocket and run, but Brady Quinn is always looking downfield.
Stovall takes it for 16 yards. Irish first down at the 44. Play action fake. Quinn drills across the middle, complete to Stovall again. He's inside the 35-yard line of Navy. Tackled by Price and Thrasher, gain of 21.
Yeah, we talked about how he's avoided that sack just a moment ago. He's been doing it all year long through his vision, through his strength, just ducking people, stepping up in the pocket, sometimes running when he's had to. The strength against USC earlier this year. And then, as we said, looking downfield and throw a touchdown. Just done about everything. And, you know, if you add them all up, I think, you know, we've kind of looked through every single game tape, and he's about 37 times he's avoided a sack.
There he makes a block. They're on Little. Little able to force Darius Walker out of bounds. But Maurice Stovall having another big day, blocking and receiving. 4 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. A nice block there. And Quinn, of course, with that sack avoidance you mentioned.
You know, he steps up in the pocket, you know, thrown by being hit. We just saw him sidestep and scramble. Now, 38 times where he could have been, may have been sacked, but made something good happen.
Brady Quinn just broke the passing yards record of Jarius Jackson, the 11th record that Brady Quinn has broken already this season. Walker. The crowd, but crosses the yellow line for a Notre Dame first down.
You know, just interesting the way Charlie Weiss uses people, calls plays. I think it's at least the third, maybe the fourth draw that Darius Walker has run this game. Threw a bunch of screens passes to him last week against Tennessee, and then he'll use Travis Thomas when, you know, wants a guy to just kind of really dart straight ahead. Travis Thomas played a lot against USC. He uses both of his tight ends and his 2 big wide receivers to out-jump guys.
Play action fake, and Quinn looks for the end zone. Nothing there, and then dropped by Fasano, incomplete.
Yeah, there's one guy relieved that he dropped that ball. It's Ken McAfee, the tight end that I actually bumped into Ken McAfee this morning. He holds the record for tight end receptions at 54. He's said how well Fasano was playing. He said, how many catches has he had this year? I said, oh, he's got 36. He said, oh, man, I can only hope. I can only hope.
All the records falling in the offensive categories across the board. 18 now have been equal or set this season by the Irish offense with 2.5 games to go. Darius Walker breaking tackles to the 15-yard line. DeJuan Price got him by the shoe top. There's Anthony Fasano.
There's Anthony Fasano and Ken McAfee. Interesting guy, played here and was a high draft pick of the San Francisco 49ers. First-round draft pick, as you see. Then he actually went to medical school in the offseason at the University of Pennsylvania. Now a face surgeon in the Boston area. Pretty interesting. They've had some great tight ends here. You got Leon Hart and Dave Casper and Mark Pavero. And that guy, Ken McAfee, and now Fasano.
Aesop Schwab, the freshman, picks up the first down.
Tackle was made.
Little gimpy as he gets up, and we'll go to the sideline.
Would you agree that Aesop Schwab's all-day tough?
Well, that's what Coach Weiss says, but the list of all-day toughs on this team is growing.
Yeah, by leaps and bounds. But they do have some tough guys who would just kind of keep battling, and Aesop Schwab is one of them.
It's one of Coach Weiss's favorite expressions. He's all-day tough.
Yeah, he likes those guys.
That's the ultimate mark of respect from your head coach. 13-yard line, first down Irish. Travis Thomas trying to use his blockers and has a lane to the outside for the touchdown.
That's Travis Thomas for the Notre Dame touchdown.
Watch him bounce. Watch him bounce outside. Good blocks by all three tight ends. I think we're in that formation. Freeman, Carlson, and Fasano. All three tight ends cleared the way for Travis Thomas. Nice patient run. Bob Morton out there in front as well.
That's the point after.
Power formation, and he bounced it outside and into the end zone.
Fourth rushing touchdown for Travis Thomas. It covered 12 yards. Fitzpatrick for the extra point. It's good. And after holding Navy on fourth down just by inches, the Irish take over, march down the field to regain the lead. Travis Thomas uses those blockers, a hand in the back of Bob Morton, into the end zone to make it 14-7 Irish. Ball is brought to you by Chevrolet, an American Revolution, and by Pioneer Plasma Displays. Experience more at pioneerpurevision.com. 14-7 Notre Dame. Brady Quinn has just passed Jarius Jackson for the all-time passing yards leader in a season, 2,757 yards. Jackson set that record back in 1999. It's the 11th Notre Dame record broken by Quinn this season.
B.J. Fitzpatrick will
Fitzpatrick tees it up for the kickoff. And that is Carlos Whitaker. Will receive it for the Midshipmen. Whitaker a yard deep. Carlos Whitaker has a head of steam up. Falls forward to the 30-yard line. Was just about one tackle away from a big one. Mike Richardson is able to trip him up and save further yardage on the return. We'll take a break with the Irish up by 7. I don't believe that's the real Billy.
Billy Goat. It's probably a good call, Tom.
But Navy's hanging in there with 5:24 to go first quarter as they take over at the 30-yard line. Triple option plan. Give to the fullback, and Ballard breaking tackles with a nice first down run. For much more on Notre Dame football, log on to NBCSports.com. Click on a special section, NBC's Notre Dame Central, for Pat's analysis, including his look at the most improved Irish players this season. Plus, you can vote for your choice for Irish MVP. That's all at NBCSports.com.
In case you don't visit, Brady Quinn is my #1 choice, and I think in all of college football, Brady Quinn is the most improved player.
Second down and short. Ballard again.
Oh, I think we got him again,
Yep.
Landry.
And the ball comes loose.
It was Derek Landry again who caused the fumble.
And Ronald Talley picked it up for Notre Dame. Referees, though, now they're discussing, and they say that he was down. They're still marking that spot
As the ball carrier
for
was
the
down.
40-yard line.
What a first half Derek Landry has had. Number 66 in the middle of the screen, and then the hustle play down the line of scrimmage. Yeah, he was down. Yeah.
Third down.
So Owens.
Actually, no gain that on the last play.
Yep, Day was down. Definitely good call.
We're going to have to do something with Derek Landry. Change the snap count, They don't double team much, but boy, Derek Landry has been in the backfield of Navy most of the first half. Right down there.
3rd down, Owens keeps. Ducks under behind the block of his fullback Ballard and keeps it to the 35, and a Navy 1st down. Corey Mays stops the Navy quarterback, but not until he is converted on 3rd down. And across that yellow line, which marks 1st down yardage, brought to you by Xerox.
Navy makes a lot of 1st downs. You know, they possess the ball, don't make many mistakes, average only 5 penalties a game. And this is, you know, typical Navy football, possessing the football.
Pass. Owens pass, short hops. Marco Nelson incomplete. He was defended by the linebacker Maurice Crum.
Well, you know, it doesn't surprise me that Lamar Owens, you know, missed Marco Nelson, who was wide open, as you see him scanning the field downfield. Knows he's going to have his slot back, Nelson, after the option fake. But, you know, you get pounded so much, it's really hard to have good touch, I think, as an option quarterback.
And I think, in all fairness, does not have the strongest arm anyway, more of a running quarterback.
2 times, though, Marco Nelson's been open for big plays.
One of them would have been a touchdown. Ballard churning ahead with Irish defenders hanging on.
Alan Ballard was a tailback in high school, still learning this fullback position. And you know, the fullback here is you're close to the line of scrimmage. That's Matt Hall, who was injured, their starting fullback. But they line up relatively close to the line of scrimmage, really leaning forward. And if you're a high school tailback, it takes a while to get used to that.
3rd down and 7.
This is the first 3rd and long they faced.
Owens sets his feet, delivers a strike for a 1st down. Caught by Jason Tomlinson, his first catch of the game. As we said, he is Navy's leading receiver. That's his 23rd reception of the season.
Jason Tomlinson, 1 touchdown catch on those 23. Perfect route, a little hook route, settled in there just past the 1st down marker. You know, he has a 61-yard touchdown catch against Air Force. He's had 2 games over 100 yards. If you're going to throw the ball, that's the guy you throw it to.
Junior from Arlington, Texas. Here's the triple option and the ball on the ground. Scramble for it, still loose and picked up by the Irish. It's Corey Mays, 46 at the bottom of the stack, making the recovery.
There just wasn't much separation between the quarterback and the fullback.
And there was Landry again in the middle of things, as Corey Mays comes up with the fumble on the bad pitch.
You know, usually the fullback's kind of running right up the middle. It's the first time we've seen him out in the perimeter of the defense trying to get a pitch, and it just didn't work well.
That's the one thing Navy, of course, cannot afford to do, is turn the ball over. Want to possess it, grind it out, and score touchdowns, and now they're in danger of falling down by 2 scores unless they can hold Notre Dame in the final 2.5 minutes.
This is a big defensive series right now for Navy.
Last possession, Notre Dame able to rush it in with Travis Thomas, their first rushing touchdown since the USC game. Fake it to Walker, and then finding Fasano all by his lonesome, carrying 4 men with him inside the 25, down to the 23-yard line, 26 yards to Anthony Fasano.
I mean, you know, I don't know how you stop all these guys, particularly when you're protecting Brady Quinn as well as the offensive line is. In a slot formation is Fasano that time. You need a quarterback with a real strong arm to be able to drill that ball beyond the linebackers in front of the safeties, and Brady Quinn has that kind of arm.
Spot the ball at the 23-yard line. 1st down for the Irish. Play action fake, and Quinn to pass across the middle to Samardzija. Wrestled down by Keenan Little, had a firm grip on him and able to wrestle him out of bounds.
You know, Jeff Samardzija is what they call their Z receiver, the flanker receiver for the Irish. I thought Charlie Weiss said something kind of interesting about him this week, saying, you know, even though he's so big, he he plays somewhat like a small receiver. He's able to get off the line of scrimmage, and you see what he's done.
He didn't say he was all-day tough.
No, I don't think he did say that. I don't think he said he was all-day tough. But 12 touchdown catches by Jeff Samardzija this year. Remarkable. 8 straight games he's got a touchdown.
The Shark, also an ace pitcher in baseball, likely to be drafted in both sports. Walker, Darius Walker breaking tackles, touchdown!
Good blocks by John Carlson, in by Samardzija. Number 89 is kind of on a trap block, squeezes his guy, and Samardzija on the outside allows Darius Walker just to dip in behind it.
Samardzija got a block on Darius Walker's cousin, Greg Thrasher.
Doesn't seem fair, does it?
No. Extra point attempt by Fitzpatrick. And it is good.
Kick is good. Notre Dame 21.
Fitzpatrick has not missed an extra point this season as Darius Walker scores on the ground for the 4th time this season. So after the turnover, Notre Dame takes advantage to score the touchdown, and they go up on Navy 21-7. 1-7 Irish.
He's a strong runner. You know, he's rushed for 60 yards, but over half of those have come after that initial contact. He kind of bounces off people, runs through some tackles. Strong runs.
Brady Quinn, a smile on his face as he talks to Coach Weiss. Notre Dame has now scored 20-plus points in the first half in each of their last 5 games. Fitzpatrick has it on the tee, and Whitaker awaits. Whitaker takes the short kick from the 4-yard line. That was a hustling play by Bruton, David Bruton, the freshman. And the clock shows 2 minutes 4 seconds as Navy takes over. Whitaker's return didn't get much, and the Irish lead the Midshipmen 21-7. Renaissance man and entrepreneur had his career high last year against Navy, and already 5 stops today. Here's Navy on first down, and Owens heaves it downfield. Caught. Nope. Incomplete. Hit the ground through the hands of Tomlinson.
Well, you know, Brandon Hoyt is an interesting guy on a team of pretty interesting people. You know, he's born in Trinidad. His parents brought him to the United States at the age of 3 for a better life and a better education. Brought him first to Harlem and then Brooklyn and then New Jersey. You know, he's a published poet, a Jehovah's Witness at a Catholic university. Just kind of interesting guy all the way around.
It's on in at halftime. And we are less than 2 minutes away on the game clock from halftime as Adam Ballard, the fullback.
You know, Tom, we were talking to Brandon Hoyt a couple weeks ago, and you know, you mentioned the entrepreneur, but this guy's a real estate mogul. He actually owns 2 homes here in the South Bend area. He's worked hard, saved money, but has purchased 2 homes, and he's got a tenant, Tom Zibikowski.
He's Zibikowski's landlord. The other one that he owns, he lives in himself, but he's Zibikowski's landlord. How do you like that arrangement? Irish call a timeout. They're hoping to get the ball back before halftime if they can stop Navy. 1:50 left.
Playing linebacker at Notre Dame. Coach signals into play. I gather up everyone in the huddle, make sure I look in everyone's eyes, and make sure they're on the same page. Make sure they're not tired, make sure that they're ready to go for the next play. I call the play, the ball snap, and we crush somebody. I see the running back with the ball. I'm wondering in my mind, how fast and how hard can I hit him and make sure his helmet comes off. And as he's getting up, you look at him in his eyes, and he knows every single time he touches that ball, he's gonna have 11 shirts running at him.
Navy on second down. Incomplete pass. Intended for Marco Nelson. High on the delivery from Lamar Owens.
Now they got to punt it to Tom Zibikowski.
That was 3rd down play, so 4th down. And they'll have to punt it away.
Derek Landry again putting pressure on him, but now you're forced to punt the ball to a guy who's returned 2 punts for touchdowns this year.
Eric Shuey is the punter, sends it towards Zibikowski. from his own 45, dancing ahead. Nearly escaping up the middle, but twisted down by a shoe top on special teams by the Midshipmen's Ty Adams.
Notre Dame with 2 timeouts and 1:35. The way they play offense, plenty of time for them.
Brady Quinn trying to work a little magic in the final minute and a half. Quinn stands in the pocket, finds Matt Shelton for his first reception of the game.
Watching Ryan Harris, the left tackle for the Irish that time. Boy, what a great job he did protecting Brady Quinn. A dominating block on Travis Thomas's touchdown run.
There's another record that has fallen to Brady Quinn.
He wasn't throwing an interception either. He had 120 passes.
Walker ducks out of bounds, chased by Buffin.
Smoked by 2 players. I mean, Brady Quinn saw a matchup, Walker against John Chan, a defensive end, and then Darius Walker gets out of bounds. Now, you have a defensive end guarding him. See, the nose tackle just dropped back. So Brady Quinn sees that, feels it, and then Darius Walker, saves a timeout by getting out of bounds. Smart play.
Irish at the 38.
Touchdown Notre Dame, 38-yard line of Navy. Quinn caught by Fasano in full stride to the 7-yard line.
A tight end that can get down the field is such a weapon. I mean, and Anthony Fasano has enough speed to really vertically stretch a defense and allow a quarterback to do that. The Irish will use one of their 2 remaining timeouts, but good route by Fasano. Look at the athleticism by Fasano. 12 varsity letters in high school did he get, so you have a pretty good athlete, right? Once again, incredible protection.
This one went for 30 yards as he hurdles and then down to the turf at the 7 of Navy. So with 55 seconds remaining in the first half, Notre Dame threatens once more to add to their 21-7 lead.
Charlie Weiss just kind of dialing them up there on his play sheet. That's a pretty good guy to send plays into, Brady Quinn.
Boy, it's a combination that has clicked this season in a big way with all those records falling. Rewriting the record books at Notre Dame, Charlie Weiss and Brady Quinn. Not to mention Stovall, Samardzija, and Fasano.
Samardzija has not yet caught a touchdown pass today, but he came in with touchdowns in the last 8 games.
Fake it, go for the end zone on the fade. Stovall can't get there. Incomplete, defended by Keenan Little.
Good coverage by Keenan Little. That was that fake and go they ran against BYU for a touchdown, really in the exact same part of the field. So look at the eyes of Keenan Little. Didn't go for the fake. Good play by Keenan.
Despite that incompletion, Pat Quinn is hitting at a 75% clip today, 12 of 16, 186 yards and a score.
He just keeps getting better.
Second and goal from the 8. 7 or 8. In the end zone, Samardzija triple team and deflected.
McGowan, I think it was Jeremy McGowan, the strong safety, got his hand on it with some help from David Mahoney, who's an outside linebacker. Right in the middle of the field, McGowan, who's made 2 good plays in the end zone, both of them against Samardzija. So the strong safety, Jeremy McGowan, who had broken a wrist earlier in the year against Duke, missed a few games, has made 2 touchdown-saving plays.
McGowan has played 4 positions for Navy: quarterback, wide receiver, and then on defense, cornerback and safety. Third down and goal. No pressure on Brady Quinn. Then he winds up and finds his receiver Fasano in the end zone, his roommate, with his second touchdown catch of the season.
And once again, Brady Quinn avoids trouble, avoids the traffic. Eyes downfield, sees looking left, nothing there, goes back to the right. He's allowed to do that because of protection. Just too much time for those poor defensive backs. So give the offensive line an awful lot of credit for Notre Dame.
Extra point attempt. Fitzpatrick, it's good. So the Irish able to pad their lead with 40 seconds left in the second quarter.
I think Brady Quinn's only had pressure on him maybe on one pass.
Right, when they blitzed.
Yeah, look again, 68 in the middle of your screen. Ryan Harris doing a terrific job, his guy, and then Brady Quinn scrambling. Think about maybe running it in, but his eyes see a flash of blue. He sees Fasano in the end zone and then drills it.
Pretty big flash of blue.
That's exactly right. 255 at 6'5". Ken McAfee growing more and more concerned about that record that he holds for touchdown for receptions.
And the Notre Dame offense has been stopped only once today. They failed on a 4th down conversion. They've scored touchdowns in 4 of their first 5 possessions.
Talking to Buddy Green, the defensive coordinator, about Brady Quinn this week, and he was saying, he is so much better than the last 3 years that I've seen, or 2 years that I've seen him. And he said the thing that I've been most impressed about, this is Buddy Green, the defensive coordinator, saying this is how he looks off defenders. He'll look
said you
one
don't
way.
See that much on the college level.
Absolutely. And we saw him do it against USC in a long touchdown pass. And again, well coached by Charlie Weiss to look those defensive safeties off.
So the final 40 seconds of the second quarter will begin with a Fitzpatrick kickoff to Carlos Whitaker. Whitaker again will come out from the yard deep. And the youngster from North Chicago, Illinois, tackled by Leo Ferrine.
How about the big 3 today? Brady Quinn, his usual efficient self. Maurice Stovall with a touchdown on those 4 catches. And Fasano has got a touchdown on his 4 catches as well.
And don't forget Darius Walker, who's rushed for 60 yards and a touchdown. Walker with 60 yards on the ground and touchdown. So they're doing it through the air and on the ground with 33 seconds left in the half. The triple option, and Owens keeps with a pretty nice first down run.
So that's why, when you run the option, you have to keep the games close, Tom. You can't get too much of a spread because you don't have the firepower offensively in the passing game to make up large deficits. So their formula has always been keep the game close, possess the ball, and just kind of keep running, win in the 4th quarter if you have to against a team like
and their first drive accomplished just that. 7 minutes 45 seconds to tie it up on a long drive by Navy. But since then, they've been unable to stop the Irish. They turned it over, which led to a Notre Dame touchdown. And Notre Dame, behind Brady Quinn's record-setting, got a touchdown just before the intermission. Let's go down to Lewis.
All right, Tom, thanks. Well, Coach, we've witnessed the Notre Dame offensive power so far, but on defense, you're probably going to be looking for a lot of discipline from your side in the second half, trying to stop Navy.
Well, I mean, they came out early and moved the ball right down the field on us. Fortunately, we'd be able to get that turnover and change the momentum a little bit and pull away from them a little bit right there in the second quarter.
How difficult is it to deal with this option? It's not something you see very often.
Well, the one thing is they're not going to change what they do. Even though they're down 3 scores, you can count on they're not going to start slinging it all over the yard. They're going to keep on running it.
And finally, I guess you can always count on Brady Quinn to continue to lead the offense. He's broken 2 more Notre Dame records in the first half here.
Yeah, he's not bad.
That's a great way to describe him, Coach. Tom?
Yeah, he's not bad, but one thing Coach Weiss has said is not about individual records. He appreciates his quarterback, but he doesn't care about the records. Notre Dame leads at the half. It's time now for the Lexus halftime show. So let's join Jimmy Roberts in our New York studios. Halftime at Notre Dame Stadium with Notre Dame leading the U.S. Naval Academy 28-7. As Navy was able to tie it at 7 with a long drive. It consumed nearly 8 minutes on the clock, but after that the superior numbers of Notre Dame took over. They took command of the game in the second quarter, and I guess that's the subject of our Charles Schwab conversation.
Well, indeed, they should be. You know, there's a few things that Navy really, I think, has to do this second half. And the first thing they have to do if they're going to have a winning strategy at all is slow down Brady Quinn. I mean, he's been, you know, phenomenally successful. It's easier. You know, they've got to play better first down defense, really, because the Irish have averaged almost 10 yards a play on first down. And then, hey, how about Notre Dame? Brady Quinn has not been sacked. He's not been pressured. He hasn't turned the ball over. And to me, that's the biggest difference in the game. They have got to find a way to protect or to get Brady Quinn the second half to have any chance.
Ready to start the third quarter at Notre Dame with the Irish leading Navy 28-7. And DJ Fitzpatrick will kick it off for the Irish. Navy gets the ball to open the third quarter. That's a look at Carlos Whitaker.
A good plebe year. We've talked about Whitaker scored 6 touchdowns, which is a plebe record.
Fitzpatrick sends it downfield and into the end zone, where Whitaker will down it for a touchback. And while the Midshipmen get their offense on the field, let's take a look at our serious first half stats.
Well, you know, you look at the big thing here is the turnovers by Navy. They turned that ball over. Notre Dame turned it into a touchdown. And for the time of possession, that's what kind of Navy wants. They always like to outpossess you. And what's that music we're hearing underneath that?
Well, Born to Run. It's the 30th anniversary of the Boss's Born to Run album. And the biggest Bruce Springsteen fan around, well, Charlie Weiss gleefully told us the other day, in fact played it for us, that on Sirius Radio, Channel 10 is the E Street station, 24-hour, nonstop, 24 hours a day, Bruce Springsteen. He had it on in his office and said he has it on all day long, although he did say that I probably listen to Bon Jovi, another Jersey guy, as much as I do the Boss.
Well, you know, he said he's been to 50 Springsteen concerts, 5-0, and another 20 of John Bon Jovi's. But boy, does he love that music. You know, and it's on, it's 24 hours a day because he gets into the office at 5 o'clock. So when he leaves his home at 4:30, he turns it on and he's listening to the Boss on the way in.
Second down and 6 for Navy. Toss to Whitaker. And he bangs ahead for a first down, close to the 35-yard line as we check in with Lewis Johnson.
All right, Tom, well, I talked to Navy's Paul Johnson as he came out of the locker room and asked him where did he start with his midshipmen, and he said that they really did what they wanted to do in terms of ball control in the first half. The midshipmen had the ball 4 times, Notre Dame 5, but it was the turnover and their lack of getting to Quinn that concerned him the most. And I said, well, how do you get to Brady Quinn and try and slow down their offense? He said, well, we tried the zone blitz, we rushed 4, we rushed 5, and he said, hey, if we can't get to Quinn in the second half, it's just simply going to be a long day. Tom?
He's right about that, Lewis.
And Whitaker with a pitch on the option again. Zibikowski clamps down on him. To be honest, it's been a long day for a lot of defenders trying to stop Brady Quinn in this dynamic Irish offense.
But, you know, he ordinarily has had a duck and dodge and, you know, get the ball downfield. They just, the offensive line has kind of shut him out. So, really important opening drive of this second half for the Navy midshipmen. Look at Brady Quinn's numbers. And again, very, very efficient.
2nd and 6. Owens keeps. It's going to bring up a third down for the midshipmen. Brandon Hoyt, the subject of our halftime feature, the, as I call him, Renaissance man, and heard some of his poetry reading, a poem he had composed.
He tackles an iambic pentameter from time to time.
Pentameter.
Didn't I say that?
No, I'm sorry.
That's Matt Hall, the starting fullback coming out of the tunnel.
Injured early in the game. First drive by Navy. Their second leading rusher. Whitaker on the toss. And Whitaker has a first down across his midfield. And for the injury report on Matt Hall, let's go back to Lewis.
Well, Tom, tough to see any athlete coming back out on the field like this. You know he would not want to be in the situation. Matt Hall suffered a sprained left knee in the first half. I was told that they reevaluated him at the half. At one point, they put a lot of tape on that left knee to try and see if he could get back on the field, but this shot right here tells you that that's just not going to happen today. Tom?
All right, Lewis, that was it as he went to the sideline and now on crutches.
He was talking to us this week about how long his day, starts at 5:30 in the morning and finishes about midnight.
Owens, nothing doing on that one as Corey Mays held position and stopped him.
Well, Corey Mays, the last 2 weeks against Tennessee and today against Navy, two completely different kinds of offenses, has really played well. Their middle linebacker, Corey Mays, really his first year as a starter, kind of did a great job on special teams the 2 prior years, but has played particularly well, I think, the last couple of weeks. One of the few guys, 10 tackles today for Corey Mays. One of the few guys the Irish are going to lose off this defense for next season.
His 5th season from Chicago, Morgan Park High School. Owens keeps. And will be short of the first down. Hoyt, another tackle. Linebackers getting plenty of work today. Brandon Hoyt, as we mentioned, had his career high of 16 tackles against the Midshipmen a year ago.
Creates a lot of negative plays too, Tom. He's not only their leading tackler, but he's had 11.5 tackles for losses. He's had 4 sacks. He's forced a couple of fumbles.
He has 6 tackles in the game so far. Here's 3rd and 5. On the option to the fullback, Adam Ballard, who has replaced the injured Matt Hall.
Ever since Paul Johnson got into Alan Ballard's face in that first quarter, Corey seemed to play better, hasn't he?
They're going to measure for the first down. Ballard scored Navy's only touchdown today. And they'll call the chains out for the measurement.
Paul Johnson saying, this is the 4th year as a got it.
First down, Navy.
4th year the staff has been together.
That's pretty amazing in itself.
Absolutely. Well, there's 69 years of coaching on his staff that have coached at the Naval Academies combined, 69 years. 60 of them together, and he thinks he attributes part of the success over the last 4 years of being able to keep that staff together.
Really unheard of in college football these days.
Coach of the year has really done a great job.
And after the measurement showed they had the first down, play action fake, and Owens on a first down pass, and it's caught. Reggie Campbell gathers it in inside the Irish 5, a 25-yard strike from Lamar Owens to Reggie Campbell.
Well, what a nice adjustment by Reggie Campbell. He's right here on the slot. And just right up down the middle. Good protection for Owens, and you see the adjustment by the 5'6" Reggie Campbell. Duke weighs 6'2". Reggie Campbell, one of the smaller players in the NCAA, but it makes a real nice catch there. And one of those guys who's always had to prove himself because of his size, but always seems to prove himself.
Right. First and goal, Navy, 4-yard line of Notre Dame. Owens keeps, ducks in, can't get to the end zone. Hit by Corey Mays and Tom Zibikowski.
Zibikowski, number 9, been kind of a special team star this year, intercepted a bunch of passes. This is a completely different type of game, kind of a boxing match, which he's a great boxer, kind of game that Zibikowski probably likes just as much as he does intercepting passes and returning punts. Real tough physical game for a safety playing against the option.
2nd and goal from the 1. Owens keeps, trying to break the plane of the goal line. Maybe wants the touchdown signal, but they haven't gotten it now. No, that's still a player signaling, not a striped shirt yet. Corey Mays was again the man that hit Owens. They'll unstack him and still say he was stopped short of the end zone.
Oh, there's a quarterback duck play. We've seen it a couple times today in short yardage, and big 3rd down right now for Navy. Again, this is one of the few design calls. He's just going to go right in behind his fullback, and it was Corey Mays denying the end zone to Lamar Owens.
So 3rd down and goal inside the 1-yard line. Tight formation this time by Navy. He'll try to sneak it in, Owens.
No signal yet. Two linebackers just dove over the top. And
touchdown. As they unstacked them, they found that Lamar Owens had been able to break the plane of the goal line with a football. It wasn't easy, but they get it in for the score.
Watch these guys go over the top, and then Lamar Owens just goes underneath those guys.
Sort of burrowed in, didn't he?
Absolutely. James Rossi, the center, doing a nice job. And follows Rossi and Zach Gallion, his left guard. A good opening drive to start the second half by the Midshipmen.
And stop the presses. It was a key pass in there that led to the score. 12 plays, 80 yards. Joey Bullen with the extra point. Well, they scored their first possession of the game. They scored their first possession of the second half. That makes it 28-14. Notre Dame leads after Navy drives down the field 80 yards on its first possession of the second half.
Now comes the tough part for Navy. Right, just trying to slow down and stop this Irish offense.
Interesting, the Navy has scored on its first possession of the second half each of its last 6 games. So Matt Harmon will kick it to either Grimes or Horde. This will be David Grimes. It's nowhere. Swarmed by Navy special teams players short of the 20-yard line. First to arrive on the scene was Clay Carter.
Charlie Weiss's efficient offense today. They haven't even come close to Brady Quinn. Then the 19 runs, the 18 passes, the great balance. Third down, they've been sensational. And 4 different players with a touchdown. They've scored 28 points on 37 plays. So he's called it another good game. They've executed it. And this is an offensive juggernaut, I think you call them. And I think it's pretty accurate.
Just don't ask you to spell it. From the eye. Handed off to Darius Walker, the tailback. And he stumbles ahead to the 25-yard line, covered by DeJuan Price, but it gains 7.
Give the tackle to DeJuan Price.
The numbers on Darius Walker, closing in on 100 yards. Of course, he began with 100-yard games against Pitt, Michigan, Michigan State, and Washington.
And they just kind of played a different style in the other games. I mean, I think if Charlie fed him the ball enough, he could do it every week. But, he's changed it up each week.
And again, Weiss says individual records don't matter to him. Here's Walker again. Gets the corner. Scampers down the sideline to the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 16 yards before Biles and McGowan force him out.
Okay, look at the, you're going to see the hole that Darius Walker sees. And it's supposed to go off tackle, but it's not there. It kind of bounces out because he didn't pick up the block by his wide receiver. So then his eyes always downfield, picks up a late block there by Maurice Stovall. But, the good backs can bounce it when they have to, seize the hole when it's there. But he is so, calm back there. And at the 82-yard mark right now, should get to 100 today.
This will be another opportunity for Darius Walker.
Tackle by Jeremy Chase.
Gets credit for the tackle, the senior from Norfolk, Virginia, one of the co-captains.
He was talking to us this week, Jeremy Chase, about his very first Navy game he ever saw. He was in the stands, 1999. It was an Army-Navy game. His brother Nate was being recruited by Army in the stands.
And from a Navy town, Norfolk, and with Navy ties, how awkward it was to sit on the Army side. But then Navy got into the recruiting battle. His brother ended up going to the Naval Academy, as did Jeremy, of course. Quinn with a play-action fake. He's going to keep it. Tucks it under. And out of bounds after picking up the first down, trailed by Jake Biles.
He'll run it when he has to, but what I like about him, it's a little bit like, the difference between when John Elway scrambled and Steve Young. Steve Young usually ran the ball. John Elway kind of scrambled around looking to throw the ball down the field. Most of the time, Brady Quinn is looking to throw the ball down the field. But he's got enough athlete in him, and he's a terrific athlete. When he's nothing there, when he sees nothing there.
And there's the block for Carlson. That enables him to get the first down for a 12-yard gain.
Brady will notice that block by Carlson. Maybe feed him a bone, throw him a ball or two.
First down pass. Quinn finds Schwab as fullback. Lowers his head. Wrestled out of bounds by Biles and Little.
Little, number 4, trying to strip swap of the ball. Ian Little's kind of unusual for Navy. He was highly recruited by the ACC schools, but came to Navy, you don't hear this often much, for the academics.
Aerospace engineering.
Absolutely. His coaches worry about him getting enough sleep. He kind of stays up at 3 o'clock in the morning every night, they say, studying. And Paul Johnson was saying he has been a real bright spot on our defense.
Second down and a yard. 3 tight ends in this formation. And it's to Travis Thomas. Made a nice cut to the outside to pick up the first down and takes it down to the 27-yard line.
Had a chance to talk to Travis Thomas yesterday, and we talked about him kind of overcoming some adversity at Notre Dame in terms of him fumbling the ball last year, getting benched, not playing much. But he said, I am not a quitter. I wanted to finish what I started. Thought about transferring momentarily, but he just said, hey, this is my family, the Notre Dame family.
First and 10, Notre Dame.
Travis lived with his grandparents and a tight-knit family.
Loved his mom, Cindy.
Cindy Thomas, mom, Cindy Parent. She too had some hard times, but he said she sacrificed everything for him. So how could he quit in the face of adversity? Though it did cross his mind to leave Notre Dame after he really got deeply into the doghouse last season with fumbling problems.
But don't you respect guys like that? They just kind of fight through those tough times to have a big year, and he has.
He said the coaching change worked in his favor too, because they sort of had a clean slate, and they encouraged him to have confidence in themselves. And Charlie Weiss was telling us, of all the players on his team, one that has regained that confidence and has really helped his game is Travis Thomas. Washington, Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, where football is a way of life. He is again. This time, after all that storytelling, he doesn't pay it off.
Yeah, that happens.
Jeremy Chase made certain of that, as did Rob Caldwell.
Jeremy Chase against St. Louis this week. In spite of this 41 prior games, that me and my teammates always look forward to this game every year. The Army game's the biggest, but this is the next most important to the midshipmen.
What about the quip that Coach Johnson had when we reminded him that next year Notre Dame plays both Navy and Army?
So that, it says Notre Dame has a chance to win the Commander-in-Chief trophy.
Play action fake and pass it to Samardzija. Nice play by Little and Biles to stop him short of that yellow line.
Play action fake. Samardzija was the guy in motion. Just another way of getting a little short pass that's an extended run. And we've seen Coach Weiss do this in a variety of different ways with different players, but that time with Samardzija.
It'll bring up a fourth down and a yard.
We've got Travis Thomas in, who is in their slasher.
Schwab, the ball carrier, and the tough freshman carrying tacklers with him. Look at that pileup right in the middle of the field of blue jerseys and white jerseys. It is a Notre Dame first down.
First down, Irish.
So Notre Dame with an extended drive of its own here.
Good offensive line surge. You see Dan Santucci, number 50, and Harris, who's played real well.
What about Santucci? What was his reaction when we talked about Landry speaking Italian?
Yeah, he said he just kind of laughed. Santucci takes the guys out to Bruno's every Thursday night for the buffet.
All you can eat Italian buffet, the offensive line. Wow. There's the pass to Stovall for the touchdown.
Well, one week he's blocking so his teammates can get in the end zone. The next week he's catching touchdown passes. Second touchdown catch of the day, his 8th of the season. First one was a brilliant catch. This was a brilliant throw by Quinn. Perfect spiral right out in front of Maurice Stovall. When we were talking about ball placement, Tom, and Stovall was going to catch that or no one.
So Quinn already has set the passing yards for a season record. That ties Ron Paulus.
And he just shook his hand, Ron Paulus.
Right, that was an interesting shot to see Paulus congratulate him. And Maurice Stovall and Brady Quinn, a pretty potent combination for the Irish. It clicks once more, and Notre Dame with a flag down on the conversion attempt. And an offside call appears against Navy.
Offside, number 8 on the defense. The penalty is declined. The PAT is good. TV timeout.
Jerry McGowan, and what did he say? I think Ron said it was TV timeout.
Let's go.
All right, we'll be back. The all-new Lexus IS. Why live in one dimension? By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? And by Comcast Digital Cable with HD TV. Your place for high-definition sports programming. So the second half begins in similar fashion to the opening of the game, with each team having a long, sustained drive on its first possession.
Brady Quinn now has thrown 127 passes consecutively without an interception. Last interception was against USC.
Fitzpatrick's kick. Carlos Whitaker gathers it in and takes it out of the end zone. Whitaker's had some nice returns today, hasn't he? This one especially nice. He turns ahead and won't go down almost to the 40-yard line before he's finally tackled by Anthony Salvador.
Well, Paul Johnson said, "I've never had a kick returner like Whitaker."
Took that one 38 yards. And this was a nice scene after Quinn threw the touchdown pass to equal Ron Paulus. Paulus with a congratulation for the new record setter in many categories, and equaling Paulus. He'll keep that football. Either Billy the Goat, you saw the mannequin earlier. The cheerleaders made the trip. A lot of midshipmen actually made the trip from Annapolis to South Bend. Brady Quinn steadying his wristband there, the play calls on it, and holding that football. But I was talking that annually, this is one of the trips that the midshipmen like to make. They make them individually, but they had some charter buses coming, some driving their own cars, and others finding a way to get here. And a pretty good contingent on hand. There are some of them. The Drum and Bugle Corps made the trip as well.
Tackled by Ronald Talley.
Adam Ballard gets that last Navy carry, stopped by Ronald Talley of the Notre Dame defense. That's 6 yards on first down. Owens with a triple option and a pitch to Whitaker. Richardson right at the sideline, with Ndukwe getting there too.
Gentlemen, Ndukwe and Michael Richardson knocked him out of bounds.
Bring up a third down for Navy.
Yeah, but most importantly for Navy, 3rd and 2. Paul Johnson's, first down calls and play selection and execution has been, for the most part today, pretty good.
Triple option. Owens keeps, tried to back his way to first down yardage.
He was about to reach the ball back, and he saw some blue jerseys there, said, "That's not a good idea, I might get it stolen." So heads up play, a very aware play by Lamar Owens.
Looks like forward progress will give him enough for a first down.
You watch at the very end of this run, Lamar Owens looks like he's going to reach back with the ball and see some guys, no way. Victor Abiamiri, who was talking to you yesterday, and Victor was saying to us, I respect this opponent more than any other opponent, just because of what they have to do, not only just on Saturdays, but all week long.
Abiamiri from Randallstown, Maryland, not far from Annapolis. There's Marco Nelson on the pitch to the 45-yard line. Well, this is the 79th straight meeting between these two teams, the longest intersectional rivalry in college football, but it really began in the mid-40s. World War II virtually wiped out Notre Dame, so many young men were being drafted and sent to war. Almost no one left to attend the university. Navy needed more officers than the Naval Academy could produce, so Navy provided Notre Dame with a much-needed influx of students. It also built a number of campus facilities that stood for years to come. So why do Notre Dame and Navy play every year? Because of that debt owed in the mid-40s. Back in World War II, when Navy sent students to come to Notre Dame when the school might have had to close for lack of students.
And they just extended the contract through 2015.
Interesting to note, too, that one of the greats, Frank Leahy, the coach of the Irish, missed some time at Notre Dame because he served active duty in the Navy during World War II. And again, reminded that yesterday was Veterans Day, and a tip of the hat to all our veterans and all the services. who have and continue to do so much for all of us.
My father was in World War II in the Navy, and biggest game in our household was Army-Navy, and you know for whom we were rooting.
Yeah, that's right. My dad was in the Army. I usually rooted the other way.
With the pass, halfback pass.
Downfield and intercepted by Zibikowski.
Now the fun starts.
Zibikowski has 2 returned for touchdowns, not this time. Down at the 4-yard line as the pass from Eddie Martin was picked off by Tom Zibikowski. That's his 5th of the season.
Yeah, he leads the team with those 5 interceptions, Tom. And Zibikowski's going to come late in the screen, but just such an aware player. Some guys just find their way around the ball and then do something with it afterwards. And Tom Zibikowski's one of those kind of players.
The playmaker strikes again, always around the football. Tom Zibikowski trying to deal a knockout punch to the midshipman, picks off a pass, and Notre Dame takes over deep in its own territory at the 5-yard line.
Zibikowski actually thought momentarily about going to Navy. Both his grandfathers were Marines. He mentioned boxing. Navy has one of the great intercollegiate boxing programs.
Just from speaking with him, he probably would have been a pretty good fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Most places.
Walker broke the tackle, cuts up field.
Well, Tom Zibikowski's had a very big season for the Irish against number 1 USC, a 60-yard punt return, shaking off 3 tacklers, and then against BYU, an interception return for a touchdown, and then last week against Tennessee did the number again right up the gut, delivering that body blow, and then in the same game returns that interception for a touchdown. And we talked about him today, picked one off. Last week he was sensational, 70-yard punt return. The interception return had 9 tackles and a sack.
Last week against Tennessee, Zibikowski became the first Notre Dame player since Nick Grassus in 1965 to return both a punt and an interception for a touchdown in a single game. There's Stovall. You look again at the man Zibikowski.
Yeah, just amazing. The guy rarely, 2 punt returns for touchdown. Interestingly enough, Reggie Bush from USC, who's always touting for Heisman trophies, only had 1 touchdown on a punt return. Zibikowski now 2 on the season.
Irish first down at their own 19-yard line. Final seconds of the 3rd quarter. Quinn to Stovall. Another first down for the Irish. Greg Thrasher covers Stovall after a gain of 17.
Well, you lay off them and they throw to him twice. Once was on their look route. He's kind of a quick X look, then the out.
So the Irish with a 17-yard pass completion rack up another first down. Today's 1st and 10 line brought to you by Xerox. Identifying the middle backer. He's 5 for 5 in the second half. He hands off here to Darius Walker. Again, you see Walker like a boxer, bobbing and weaving his way through traffic.
Over 100 yards for the day.
And will likely be the final play of the 3rd quarter.
Well, you're right, bobbing and weaving because he has such good vision and just waiting for things to develop. Some good blocks by Stevenson and Sullivan and LaVore. Santucci again.
And 102 yards rushing on the day for Darius Walker on 18 carries as we bring the 3rd quarter to a close with Notre Dame leading Navy 35-14. And we'll return to Notre Dame Stadium for the start of the 4th quarter right after these messages from your local NBC station. Quarter at Notre Dame Stadium with the Irish leading 35-14 over the Midshipmen of Navy.
Notre Dame's owned the 2nd quarter this year, haven't they, Tom? They've really created a lot of separation in the 2nd quarter this season, largely because that man has played remarkably well.
Brady Quinn facing a 2nd down and 2 as we start the 4th quarter. That's a school record. Another one goes. And Notre Dame hoping to win out again to make it or to be eligible at least to a BCS Bowl. To make it to the pool for BCS teams, they have to win 9 games and be 12th in the BCS poll. They are currently 11th. And they'll be favored in their remaining games. Maybe 2, hoping to make it to a bowl for the 3rd straight year. They need to win 1 of their last 3. Even if they lose today, they'll be favored over both Temple and Army. Quinn got some pressure, and then it was picked up at the last minute. He decides to run, and the big fellow rambles out of bounds in Navy territory at about the 45-yard line. A 12-yard scramble by Brady Quinn.
You know how frustrating it is to be a defensive lineman playing against Brady Quinn? Just when you think you're going to get to him, you don't. Come up with a bunch of error.
He was still looking. You see him look off to his left for a receiver before he decided to run?
That's what, what struck me about John Elway. John Elway, he was scrambling around, always looking downfield, and, Steve Young was looking to run because he was such a good runner. So 2 different styles, but you come up with a lot of big plays in the passing game if you keep your eyes focused downfield.
Been hit once today. The offensive line has given him great protection against that undersized Navy front 4 as Walker is to the 30-yard line. Stopped by Jeremy McGowan, but it gained 15 yards.
Walker tackled by Jeremy
The BCS standings we were mentioning.
USC and Texas locked the top, and Alabama with a big game today, but Notre Dame creeping up into that area where they could get that BCS bid if they win their last 2 games against Syracuse and Stanford.
Don't let Coach Weiss see that. We use that graphic.
He is a very focused guy. There's the schedule. Syracuse next week here, who is struggling, and Stanford, who's had a heartbreaking loss a couple of weeks ago against UCLA.
Pass to Samardzija. Sideline. And out of bounds. And a penalty marker. Came in late. Keenan Little.
Juwan Price and Keenan Little come out of bounds.
Samardzija's the Z receiver. Maurice Stovall is the X, and boy, they block well for one another. Stovall again with a good block for Samardzija.
Personal foul, 78 offense, 15 yards, 2nd down.
John Sullivan called for the dead ball personal foul.
He's the center.
Called on Notre Dame.
Hey, it's amazing. It's only the 3rd penalty against Notre Dame today, and Navy has 0. 0 penalties accepted. They had 1 call, but 0 accepted.
2nd and 18.
Let's get the broad back of John Sullivan, 6'4", 300 pounds, give or take 1.
He was a pretty good. We talked about high school wrestlers. He was a pretty good high school wrestler. 138-6 in Connecticut.
He said he was no match, though, compared to Trevor Laws, who was the top-ranked wrestler in the United States in high school.
Well, the Navy finally got to Brady Quinn in this drive.
It was John Chan that did the work here.
Brady Quinn has been bobbing and weaving and dodging people all season long. Rob Caldwell had the first shot at him, and then Chan finishes him off, and so it creates one of the, I think it's only the 2nd, 3rd and long Notre Dame has had all game long. Played by Chan, who played high school football with Derek Landry up in Northern California.
Quinn across the middle, intercepted. That'll break his string of interceptions as Juwan Price picks it off for Navy. And then written down short of the 30-yard line. Quinn threw it high.
Yeah, because, Darius Walker was blocking an on-rushing linebacker. I think it was Biles. Watch the linebacker, Biles, go right through Walker, get his left hand up, made him throw it high over the head of Samardzija into the hands of Price. So, you just, that effort, the inside linebacker, Biles, see how he got his left hand up. Brady couldn't step into it and follow through. That's why the ball went high. And then the interception.
First interception of the season by Juwan Price. And Notre Dame turns it over with 13:37 left in the game. And the first Notre Dame turnover of the day. But the Irish still leading 35-14. That was a few minutes ago on the Navy sideline. Defensive coordinator Buddy Green. And And on the opposite sideline, Charlie Weiss talking to Brady Quinn, who threw an interception after hitting 130 attempts without one.
But you see Darius Walker try to step up and pick up the blitzing linebacker, but didn't really hold his ground. The linebacker went right back into the face of Quinn.
Triple option, toss to Whitaker, fumbled the ball, and Lamar Owens got on it.
There seemed to be enough separation in some of these pitches,
Yeah,
right? We've seen it a couple times with a fullback and a couple of times with plebe Carlos Whitaker.
Again, though, with watch it again, Pat.
Yeah. Good job of Maurice Crum really trying to create some indecision in the quarterback's mind. I don't think Whitaker thought he was going to get that one.
Yeah. So Brady Quinn throws 130 passes consecutively without an interception. On the 131st, he is picked off, but he still sets the Notre Dame record. Fullback Adam Ballard. Sellout crowd as always at Notre Dame Stadium. And interesting the respect they have shown their opponents today, the Naval Academy. Again, during halftime, there were some standing ovations for Navy as the Drum and Bugle Corps played the Notre Dame fight song, and then Anchors Away and the Marine Corps song. Before the game today, a flyover by a couple of Navy fighter jets that came from Virginia for the flyover, both piloted by Notre Dame grads. Owens scrambles.
Brandon Hoyt saved a big play there.
Yeah, because Owens was off to the races, it appeared, and Brandon Hoyt got him by the shoestrings.
Yeah, and that wasn't one of those negative plays by Brandon Hoyt right here, number 39. Because Lamar Owens, if he spins out of this or breaks to his left, there is nothing but green grass.
Instead, it's fourth down. Just Navy's second punt of the day. Eric Shuey. And Grimes awaits it. Grimes from the 27-yard line. David Grimes tripped. I'm not sure if one of the Navy players on the ground, the Yakitis, was able to trip him up. It looked like he did. He returned it 15 yards. It looked like he was going to break it all the way. A 40-yard punt returned 15 yards as Grimes, the freshman, nearly broke it. The game for that Ford Ironman Triathlon World Championship. Just to remind you, Pat, 2-mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, a full 26-mile marathon, all in the same day. That's coming up next after football, the Ford Ironman Triathlon World Championship. No, you're not entered.
You know, if it's separated into 3 different months, I still couldn't do it. Each event. A horrible swimmer.
Well, after only their second 3-and-out all day, Navy gives it up, and Brady Quinn still under center for the Irish. Straw play handoff, Travis Thomas.
Travis Thomas having another good day. 40 yards for Travis. Remember again that the USC game where he scored a touchdown, had 18 carries, really controlled the clock.
On a state championship team in high school, Washington High School in Pennsylvania.
Senior class president, captain of the football team. It's a good combo.
On the student council. Well-rounded student. Thomas again.
Speaking of senior captains, it seemed like every player on Navy was the captain of their high school football team. Just remarkable.
Sorts of leadership that you expect to attend the United States Naval Academy. Leaders of tomorrow. Irish facing a third down here and 5. Fasano tried to scoop it up off the turf. Couldn't quite get it there. He'll let his roomie know about that one.
One of the few poor throws by Brady Quinn today. Everything else is pretty much on the mark.
And Coach Weiss will let him know about it.
A good rush by Rob Caldwell.
Right at the feet of Fasano.
Jason Tomlinson is deep.
So Notre Dame's first punt of the day. Fitzpatrick in punt formation. High snap. Got it away to Tomlinson. Flag back upfield. Tomlinson wrestled down at the 3-yard line. David Bruton made the tackle on special teams.
David Bruton's had a good day on special teams for the Irish.
It was a 45-yard punt by Fitzpatrick, and Tomlinson lost a yard on the return, attempted return.
Running into the kicker. There. That's the 5-yard variety. There's two of them, right? 5 and 15.
Correct. That was Jeff Deltz.
Running into the kicker, that's a 5-yard penalty. The yardage earned by the penalty is enough to get a first down. First down, Notre Dame.
First penalty of the day for Navy gives Notre Dame a first. Just get the feeling that Charlie Weiss would like to get his starters out of there. Up 35-14, 10 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter.
I also kind of have the feeling that maybe he doesn't want to take Quinn out with a bad taste in his mouth after throwing an interception and then throwing a poor pass to Fasano a moment ago. I think that's possible.
It is possible. He hadn't had very many poor tastes in his mouth this year, has he?
No, it hasn't. Pump one way, go for Samardzija, not even close.
You know, we're talking to Charlie Weiss this week about walk-ons, the guys that really make a difference. There's a shot of Craig Cardillo, a senior from New York, a guy that really, Charlie Weiss was raving about a walk-on kicker who plays wide receiver on their scout team. They call him the show team. But he's been the offensive player of the week 3 times for the show team.
He's a place kicker, and he was running pass routes on the show team and said he was running them better than some scholarship receivers we had. And he's a kicker.
But, you know, it's kind of cool. If you're the player of the offense or defensive player of the team or the scout team, you get to travel or home games. You get to spend Friday night at the hotel with the team. And he's been MVP 3 times. And, you know, as a guy who played with walk-ons years and years ago, you can't appreciate these guys enough.
Well, when you ask the varsity players about all the walk-ons, they have the utmost respect for them too, because there's no payoff. I mean, you don't get to play in the game. You just work hard all week to get the regular players ready. Thomas, that last carry, setting up a 3rd down and 4. Empty backfield, 5 wide receivers. Drills to Samardzija on the slant, first down, just shy of the 30.
Good tackle by Buffin. Otherwise, Jeff Samardzija is on the way for his 13th touchdown of the season.
That's the gain of 10.
Ball placement, right? Run after the catch.
Samardzija's string of 8 straight games with a touchdown reception is in jeopardy.
But you know what? You talked about Charlie Weiss doesn't care about records. I kind of like that. I mean, they're not forcing the issue.
Well, he said that's the Patriots way, and that's what he learned with the Super Bowl champions, that everyone has to submerge their ego for the good of the team.
And he said, you know, we are really becoming a team. He said, I love it when my defense is rooting for the offense, and they're both rooting for the special teams. And I remember Jeff Samardzija last week was saying, hey, I love watching the defense and watching Tom Zivikowski play. It's a good football team, this Notre Dame team. They've come a long, long way. Weren't well thought of as a beginning of the season. Weren't even ranked when the season started, but have a chance to have a very, very big finish if they hold on today and can win the next 2.
Speculation would have them going to the Fiesta Bowl, first choice. That large UCF team that plays out the way everyone expects it to now, with USC and Texas holding on to play for the championship. Schwab on the pass reception, a gain of 12. Jeremy Chase brings him down.
You know, Aesop Schwab, as Charlie Weiss said, never acted like a freshman. Well, he's played so much this year, he's really not truly a football freshman, maybe an academic freshman. Boy, he just continues to develop. And And, you know, as you think about next year, most of this offense will be back. You know, Fasano has a chance to leave, but most of this offense will be back. Brady Quinn has stated he's coming back. Obviously, that man Schwab is coming back. Darius Walker.
Brady Quinn throws nowhere in close. Might have been intended for Schwab. He was the closest man to it, but that was pretty good ways. And, of course, Raymond McKnight will be back next year at receiver for the Irish.
Well, it's staggering, averaging 331 yards passing a game. And, you know, remember when, 300-yard mark was kind of a, a big deal? I mean, he's doing it every week.
I expect he'll get some Heisman votes this year, but next year he'll be one of the favorites.
Absolutely.
There's McKnight.
Raymond McKnight, who's going to petition for a medical redshirt year. He'll come back and take Maurice Stovall's place, who will graduate.
Thomas.
They do graduate, too.
Travis Thomas.
Inside the 5, Caldwell with another tackle for Navy.
Thomas to the 10.
Well, Brady Quinn has hit only 2 of his last 6 passes, Pat, but he's still hitting at a 70% clip.
Made another tackle. Gain of 5.
Leading 65%. And remember Charlie Weiss said to us a few weeks ago that, hey, I just don't think there's a limit on this guy. And he may well be right. Brady really working, moving around in the pocket so well and throwing the ball incredibly accurately.
Travis Thomas, by the way, a career-high 58 rushing yards today. Quinn with that look pass, gathered by Stovall. How easy was that?
Well, the 41 point of the day, and you see this kind of physical play by Maurice Stovall, who's had a bunch of physical plays today. A remarkable first touchdown catch, remember, with the one hand?
Yep.
There he just kind of ran through the defensive back, Keenan Little.
3 touchdowns today by Stovall, give him 9 for the season. Last year he scored 1 touchdown.
It's incredible. I think he had 3 his entire first 3 years.
Fitzpatrick's boot through the uprights, good. And Notre Dame exceeding 40 points again, as you said.
Well, he had 4 touchdown catches against BYU, 3 against Navy today. He's just a physical guy. 6'5", 220 pounds, and defensive backs just can't stay with him physically. You see the air that Brady Quinn gives him. It gives him a chance, keeps the ball in play, and allows his talented wide receiver to go get it.
All set up by that running into the punter penalty against Navy when Notre Dame looked like they had to give it up. McDonald's by Charles Schwab. Investing, talk to someone who actually listens. Talk to Chuck. Charles Schwab, 1-800-4-SCHWAB. And by Sirius Satellite Radio. It's more than just radio, it's Sirius Satellite Radio. Maurice Stovall with the latest Notre Dame touchdown. In fact, he's the first Notre Dame player ever to have multiple 3 touchdown games. He had 4 against BYU and 3 today against Navy.
Just a fat freak.
Well, between time zone and Bo, we've got plenty of numbers over here. Whitaker. Ouch. That was Schwab that hit him high and somebody else hit him low. So I guess that's who had him partially. Steve Quinn, number 48 of the Irish. The last touchdown pass, too, by Brady Quinn was the Notre Dame record, 53rd career touchdown pass. He had tied Ron Paulus earlier. That latest one broke it, and he's the new record holder. So 15 records set this season by Brady Quinn.
Every quarterback, old quarterback from Notre Dame has a record, ought to go out and buy a program from this year because their names will no longer be in it next season if you come to Notre Dame. So buy your programs today, Joe Theismann and all those other great, Ron Powell, all those great Notre Dame quarterbacks.
In at quarterback for the Navy now is Brian Hampton. He's a junior from Scott Air Force Base, Illinois. This is the 9th game in which he has played this season. He has a couple of rushing touchdowns. He is 5 of 17 through the air.
Well, came in against Kent State a few weeks ago and played very, very well. A guy now who becomes, with that last run, ran for 100 yards. over 100 yards. It's the 7th different player that's rushed for at least 100 yards this year.
From Belleville Altoff Catholic High School in Illinois, honorable mention All-State. His dad's in the Air Force.
You know, else had a pretty good day is Chingu Ndukwe. Ndukwe, the strong safety for the Irish, no longer in the game right now. They had a really good game.
Ray Hines gets the carry, fullback for Navy. Both teams getting some reserves, some playing time here in the final 5 minutes plus. Joe Brockington, Nick Borsetti, Anthony Vernaglia on the field at linebackers. Justin Brown, Pat Kuntz, Dwight Stevenson Jr., Ryan Baydash for Notre Dame all on the field. Lambert, Jake Carney with Ray Herring and Lou Farine. All subs for the Irish getting some playing time. Hampton keeps Ray Herring the tackle. Herring, a freshman from Melbourne, Florida.
Justin Brown was one of the Notre Dame players in there on that.
As we approach the 5-minute mark, there's Chinadu Ndukwe.
God be with you in Nigerian.
Kaufman High School, teammate of Brady Quinn during his high school days. He's a prep All-American, as was Brady. It's 3rd down in the yard, and Hampton keeps and picks up the Navy first, it would appear. And speaking of Ndukwe, his brother and parents are in the stands today, and let's go to Lewis, who's with them.
All right, Tom, yeah, anytime you come to a Notre Dame home game, good chance you're going to find the Ndukwe family. Stephen, the father, there's mom, and of course Kelechi. And this story has a military twist to it because Kelechi, you are also in the United States Navy. Now, you are a Notre Dame grad in chemical engineering, is that right?
Chemical engineering, correct.
And you're serving where now?
In Norfolk, Virginia on the USS Normandy.
Wow, and so it must be an honor to come and see your brother, but the game must have a special touch to it today as you're here with some of your Navy brethren too.
Definitely, being in the Navy, I have 2 roommates. They're both Naval Academy graduates. It's a very special game. It was special when I was an undergrad here also. So,
oftentimes during the game, Tom will mention to all of you listening on AFN, we wish you well. When you're on the ship, do you hear that? You watch these games. What does it mean for you to catch a game like this on the radio when you're serving?
It's great. It's a good morale booster for us. Oftentimes guys will come out long watches or qualification processes, and to be able to watch a game and follow your home team, or maybe watch a NASCAR race or that sort of thing, it's really good for our sailors.
Well, I'm going to swing over here and ask your dad a quick question. Stephen, when your son was in his 7th and 8th grade, you brought him and Brady Quinn to Notre Dame often to drop him off and let him hang around and begin to dream about being here. You're also an engineer, so I know education is big, but talk about those moments and what you were hoping to do for those young men.
Well, I fell in love with this campus when Kelechi was here, and I felt like I had to start early conditioning those kids. So I'm glad that they have the opportunity to be part of this great institution.
Well, Tom, mom is a nurse. Dad, Stephen, you just talked to, is a mechanical engineer. Kelechi, the chemical engineer. Education, a big, big part of this family. And Ndukwe, the younger one down on the field now, also getting the same thing here at Notre Dame. Tom?
Stephen used to drive Brady Quinn and Chinadu here to South Bend. They'd go to the game with Kelechi, and Stephen wouldn't even go to the game. He wasn't that interested in football in Nigeria, but his sons have taken to it in a big way, especially his second son, who is a starter and having a great season in the secondary for the Irish. Hampton keeps and has a nice gain thrown down as he crosses the 45-yard line inside the 45 to the 44, tackled by Anthony Vernaglia after a gain of 8.
Tom, just kind of finishing the story on his father, Stephen, as you mentioned, came from Nigeria to West Virginia University to get that engineering degree, worked a couple of jobs to save some money to bring Chinumdum's mother over to West Virginia, where she also got her degree. And as Chinandum was telling us just a few weeks ago, that education is very, very important in our family.
Eddie Martin in the game in the backfield from Navy as Hampton's going to try a pass, and it is to Martin, who dropped it. On the way to the end zone, he could not hang on.
Well, this is what you call open, and should have been caught for a touch.
Let it get into his pads. He took his eye off it as he looked for the end zone. Nobody between him and the goal line.
Don't let him touch the china.
Yeah, that's kind of that sums up the feeling there.
Right there, yeah.
So Hampton's going to pitch it instead, and this one handled by Whitaker.
Whitaker's had a nice game, and you know, one of those Navy type of guys you like to see. In high school, he was an honor student. On the football team, he played slot back, he played linebacker, he was a punter, a kicker, kick returner. Talked about the very good plebe year he's had with the 6 touchdowns. And at Stanford had over 100 yards rushing on just 7 carries. He's got a bright future ahead of him, and this is a young Navy team that will be improved not only this season, but next season as Paul Johnson welcomes back a lot of starters.
Last tackle made by Jake Carney, the senior from Lexington Catholic High School. Reggie Campbell. Campbell on the carry, and Borsetti and Vernaglia combined for the hit. You were talking about Carlos Whitaker. You know, he's seen his share of adversity in his life from inner city Chicago. Saw his 3 high school teammates in a 13-month period murdered during his junior and senior year in high school. No one else recruited him but Navy, and it was a chance to escape. He also saw his older brother killed in an automobile accident in the year 2000 when his mother fell asleep at the wheel and they were in an accident. His older brother killed. Carlos Whitaker is his dad Corliss served 21 years in the Army Reserve, so he knows about the military life.
They really believe he's got a big upside for the midshipmen.
Dan Chervanik made the last tackle for Notre Dame as we look at Whitaker's stats. Flag is down. Hampton keeps to the 20.
Play there by Dwight Stevenson.
Dwight Stevenson Jr., whose dad was the Alabama All-American and the NFL Hall of Famer with the Dolphins. I remind you that we're on the air next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern Time, for more Notre Dame football. It'll be their home final game. Some of the seniors will be playing for the last time in Notre Dame Stadium as they square off against the Orangemen of Syracuse. 2:30 Eastern, Syracuse, Notre Dame next Saturday.
57 defense. The penalty yard results of the first down.
Charlie Weiss really doesn't have many seniors. You know, you mentioned this last senior game. He's got a lot of these guys, a lot of the 22 starters back next season.
First down for Navy. Fullback Hines.
Justin Brown making a play in there along with Vernaglia.
And Chervanik, who makes another tackle. He replaced Pat Coons, who was shaken up. Coons, the freshman from Indianapolis. 2-yard gain as we're inside 90 seconds to play. Fake the pitch to Nelson, and Hampton's going to put it up. Wide open, and this one caught by Nelson, I believe, for the touchdown. No, it was Barnes, Tyree Barnes, not 29, but 89, Tyree Barnes.
Absolutely, Tyree Barnes on the top. Good play action fake by Hampton. Fake the pitch. He's at the top of the screen there. Just a little post route, and there wasn't anybody in the neighborhood. Second good throw for Hampton on the series. The early one should have been caught for a touchdown. That one was.
So Hampton to the Hampton, Virginia native, Tyree Barnes. As the extra point is good by Joey Bullock.
All set up. You know, this option can kind of lull you to sleep, Tom. You just run. You fake a little pitch. You get some protection. You drill a post route to a wide open wide receiver for 6.
Minute 17 left. It's now 42-21. Closing minute of the 79th meeting between these two rivals. Navy has just scored. Matt Harmon will tee it up. We'll see if he'll attempt the onside kick. Notre Dame's expecting one anyway. Only deep man is Justin Hoskins. chance from the three. Where to go? Well, Notre Dame, for the 6th time this season, has gone over 500 yards in total offense today. And Charlie Weis ready to send David Wolke, his backup quarterback, onto the field with a 42-21 lead. 42-21, the Irish leading the Midshipmen. And Navy will go down for the 42nd consecutive time to Notre Dame. That is the NCAA record. But as we've noted on several occasions, they always play them tough, and a lot of mutual respect evident on the field today. Justin Hoskins gets a carry, the sophomore from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Justin Hoskins, haven't seen much of him this year. Last year, the previous staff was pretty high on Justin Hoskins. Thought he was going to develop into a big play runner. Get a chance to play much, a little bit on special teams.
Right, but that was his first carry of the season. The Navy plane coming in to South Bend. Coach Johnson told us so they didn't come by military aircraft. They came by charter as Hoskins is gang tackled. Joe Silk was first to get there. And that will do it. They don't have to run another play. Paul Johnson heads across the field to greet Charlie Weis. Brady Quinn, another record-setting day. And Johnson and the Midshipmen will gather forces to meet Temple and then their traditional game with Army. They need only one more win to become bowl eligible for the 3rd straight year, the first time that's ever happened in Navy football history. Just overmatched today, of course, as expected. They were about 24-point underdogs. They tied it 7-7. They had a long touchdown drive their first possession, but they finally, the superior manpower of the Irish wins out, and Navy will lose for the 42nd straight time to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Final score 42-21, and Lewis Johnson has Charlie Weis.
All right, thanks so much, Tom. Well, Coach, another step toward a BCS berth. That'll be important to you, but this game and the extension of the contract in this game really speaks also to a great importance in the rivalry between these folks, between the two of you in the history of it. Can you speak to that and the importance of the relationship between you and Navy?
Well, this is a little different. Like, they're going to sing their alma mater, and our guys are going right over there with them. And usually, you know, the last thing we're worrying about is our opponent after a game's over, but that's where we're heading right now.
So you're going to go over now and be with them during their, as they sing their alma mater?
Thank you. Yep.
Wow, first time I've ever seen something like this, Tom, but this just shows you the level of respect that we've witnessed all weekend for Navy.
And a huge round of applause from the Midshipmen who are here in attendance as Navy lines up and joined by the coaches and players of the Fighting Irish for the singing of the Naval Academy alma mater.